Hello everyone. So welcome to our coding demo for lesson 4, 5, and 6. Okay, let us just continue our last example, the class person, with some modification. The attributes now are private, age, name, gender, and address. And then provide the getters and setters method, and then an additional method print data following this print output. And then another class, an additional class, which is class student, with the private attributes of ID number and course, with setters and getters, and then a print data method providing producing this output. Note that this the name, age, address, and gender are from the person class. Okay, so let us start doing our code for the class person. So we have now our class person. We will define the constructor with the attributes of name, age, address, and gender. Now we will now provide the attributes or the data member, or we call it the class variable. And then as defined on the problem, it's be private. So using the prefix underscore, we are now declaring or assigning, or shall we say, declaring that our variable name, age, address, and genders are now private. Now, since they are private, we need to set the getters and setters method. So let us now do those methods. Okay, so let us now continue doing the code. We'll now set or define the setter. So we'll use set name, then a variable name, and then we will use the class variable self underscore name, and then equal to the name being passed. So we'll repeat that on every attribute. So fast forward. So just fast forward this. And then there you have this, all of the attributes are now assigned to a setter method. Okay, since we are done with the setters, let us now proceed to the getters. So the same procedure. We will just use the word get, then get name. Then notice that there should be no parameter or arguments in a getter. And all you have to do is use the return keyword, return, then the variable name. In this case, the underscore name variable. So let us now fast forward this. We will just repeat these steps all over with all the attributes of our class. And there, we have now completed our setters and getters and the constructor of our class person. Okay. So we are now doing the getters and setters. We will now do the method print data with the string format or the display format provided. So all you have to do is return a string. So we'll use the f string function, f, then double quote. Then all to do is using the string name as the label, and then the string variables or our method our variables. Then we have here the name, then slash n for the new line as specified on the output or the sample output, age, address, and gender. So you just continue the pattern. We'll just fast forward this. And yeah, there we have now our print data method that will display all our values on this class. We are done with the method, but first I forgot to put a self. Since Python automatically pass itself the object itself as an argument. Okay. Next, we'll try to create a instance, let me say, of a person. We'll try to run, or we'll try to check if our code is correct. Say, for example, Mark is equal to person, the string name, age, address, and gender. So we are only following the sequence according to our init method, or can we say, yeah, an equivalent to our constructor. Notice the sequence, it should be the same. Then we try to print using the print method, then mark that print data. And there, try to run. And there, we have successfully print the data according to the sample um, output provided. So we have your name label, and then the name, actual name, age label, then age, and so on. Okay, so let us now try to do the um, next class, which is the student class. Okay, let's start doing the student class as prescribed by the sample or the problem. So class student, so it will extend the parent class, which is the person. We are now doing inheritance here. We will inherit everything, every attributes and methods of person. So we will define the init method of our student. And then the attributes of our students are um, we have the ID number and then the course. We have two attributes for our student class. We let's do the we'll try to assign value and still private. The attribute should be private. Notice the underscore. Now, since our a student is still a person and then our class is person, we will try to inherit the attributes of the person class. A student can have have yeah have a name, age, address, and gender. So all those things are already declared on our person class. All we have to do is inherit those attributes. Okay. So next is we'll do the super method. Super means parent. Then we'll try to to call the parent at init method, which is the person. Then the method init method of our parent person accepts um, name, age, address, and gender. So all you have to do is pass those data there: name, age, address, and gender. Now, since our parents is now ready to accept the value for the name, age, address, and gender. So we'll try to pass that as an argument to our student. That will be the source of our data. But still, that is not an attribute of the student. That is just an argument of our method. Okay. So next we will do the um, setters and getters. Here we're just creating an init method and calling also the init method of our parent. Notice that the name, age, gender are just method variable, but the real attributes is on our parent person class. Okay, so we'll do now the setters and getters. Okay, let's now do the methods, setters and getters. So you know the process. I'll just fast forward this. And there, you notice that we only have two attributes, ID number and course. So we only have two setters and then two getters. And then since the name, address, gender are already on our parent class, which is the person, and they already have their methods, getters and setters. Okay, so we can still use those methods. And then here, this is correction. This is a keyword super, and I forgot to put the dot, and then also the underscore for the course to make it private. So now, next we will do the print data method to display the data of our student class. Okay, let us now do the print data method for our student class. To define print data, and then self. Also, I forgot to put self on our get number, and then get ID number, and then get course method. Then return using the string function. Then we only have two attributes, the ID number and then the course. We will follow the same format here, and then hit the start for this. Next is we'll try to change our instance to student, and then some modification in the attributes. The student attributes or init method, we have name, age, address, gender, and then we have here additional ID number, dummy 111, for example, and then the course is BSCS. And then we try to print that. So using the object mark print data, we are pulling the print data of the student class. Okay. Let's try. Then there we have displayed the ID number and then the course. But on the problem, we should display also the name, age, address, gender. So all you have to do is call the print data of our parent class. So slash n, then bracket, then super, meaning our parent class, then that print data. So that print data is the print data method of our person or the parent class. Okay, so let's try. And then there, we have now displayed all the data of our class. And then we have performed encapsulation, we have performed inheritance, we also perform polymorphism since our marker has many forms. It is a student and also a person. We were able to call the print data of the person method of the person class and also the print data of our student class. So in summary, we created two class, person and student. Person as the parent class and then student as the child class. Then we were able to create private attributes specified and then getters and setters, and then we made a method for printing those data. Okay, thank you and happy coding everyone.